name is Megan and I'm delighted to have you with us here today. This video is going to show you a little bit around our platform for you as a yoga teacher or yoga studio and allow you to discover some of the features available to you. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and dive in. What you can see here is the homepage of your admin space, which provides insights in today and tomorrow's classes, as well as this week, for example, the number of classes, participant and spots available, and yogis' birthdays when relevant. If we go to the left, you can see the settings bar here, which will allow you to choose specific tabs based on what you're wanting to do today. If we go to the classes tab here, you'll be able to see an overview of your classes per day, as well as for the entire month, and you can choose to add your first class. In this instance, we already have classes available in our schedule, hence the reason for seeing different teachers here if you have multiple teachers per studio, as well as the number of bookings per class and any relevant labels, for example, if it's an online class or if there's a waitlist for that specific class. Now I'm going to click on Add Class, and you'll be able to see what is needed for you to add your first class. In this case, you need a title, a description. You can choose to add an image if you like. If it's an online class, you'll be invited to tick this box here and input the URL, additional information which will be sent via email 30 minutes before the class, and of course you can choose to not send the email if you prefer not to. Please kindly note that Momoyoga is not a video hosting website, so you'll first need to add the video to, for example, Vimeo, Zoom or Webi, to name a few, and then you can input the URL here. In this case, it's going to be an in-person class, so I'm going to deselect this box here, and then you can see the additional settings below, for example, the teacher for the class, available spots, let's say for example there's 20 spots available, the name of the location and the room, as well as the date of the class. If it's a weekly class, you can tick this box here and choose either never stop repeating, or for example it's only going to last 4 weeks and then this class will no longer repeat. Please be mindful of this option here, as if we click on it, it will give you options for additional settings for this class. For example, here you can choose how you would like yogis to be able to book this class. If it says yogis can book this class with any product, this essentially means that your students will be able to book this class with any class passes or memberships available for your studio. If you choose yogis can book this class without a product, this essentially means that yogis can book without a class pass or membership. So please be mindful that they will not be asked to pay if you choose this option for this class. If you choose yogis can only book this class with selected products, you can choose to either select all here and then deselect specific options, or you can choose to deselect all and only select specific options of memberships and class passes which will allow yogis to book this class. So for example here, the morning flow pass will allow them to book this class. Below you have additional settings for the class, which I kindly invite you to take a look at, as they're for very unique situations. For example, yogis can book this class and pay what they want in the case of donation-based classes. Once you've finished, you can go ahead and click on Add Class, and your class will be added to the schedule. Next, we're going to go to events. So events are a fantastic way for you to host ceremonies, retreats, workshops, you name it. Anything that you would like to be separated, so independent, from class passes or memberships, because events work with a ticketing system. So if we add our events, you can add the title, description and image once again and select your host. In the case of events, you can also have a start date and end date, so not just one day. It can be in person and online, and then you can choose your location. And as previously mentioned, you can either have a free registration, just one ticket type, for example, all yogis will pay 15 euros for this specific event, or dollars, or multiple ticket types, meaning that you can add, for example, a early bird ticket. In this case, it's going to be 10 euros, and you can choose to have a specific sale stopping after a set date. So for example, here it would be up until the end of the month, and then we're going to only put 2, so we can do a special offer. And then we're going to have regular tickets, and we're going to choose to have that one at 30, so double the price. And that one there will be 10. You can also have unique images per ticket type, so you can really promote the different ticketing types, especially when it comes to retreats, for example. If you have, for example, a single bedroom and then a double bedroom, this will allow you to input photos per ticket type. Please be mindful that you can also drag these around if you like to change the order of how they're shown for your yogis. You can then choose the available spots for the entire event, so for example 20. And once again, you have additional settings which are very unique to specific situations, so I kindly invite you to take a look at these in your own time. And then you would go ahead and add your event. Next, we can go to the videos tab. Now, videos are a fantastic way for you to have complementary revenue on the side. If ever you choose to record your classes, you can add your pre-recorded videos once again from an additional hosting website, for example, Vimeo, Zoom, and YouTube, to name a few. You'll then be kindly invited to simply click on Add Video and input your URL here. Then, if you have your video here, as we can see, for example, in this case of the 15-minute morning flow, you can add it to a playlist. So playlists are a fantastic way for you to group together different videos based on theme, season, whatever it is, you name it. And you can then choose to have a membership at the price that you consider appropriate for that group of videos. So playlists are a wonderful way for you to have very unique offerings with your pre-recorded videos per theme or whatever you like. Next, if we go to the orders section, the orders section is a great place for you to see what's going on when it comes to the performance of your teaching. So for example, for every single purchase, you'll be able to find an automatically generated invoice here. You'll also be able to find the payment status. So as we can see here, we've not got many payments happening, but indeed you can always change the payment status if you just simply click on the order here, and you would go ahead and confirm the payments. So for example, we'll confirm this payment here with cash, and it occurred on January the 3rd. If we return to our orders tab, you can also see that you have the possibility to filter by invoice dates, status, so this is payment status, and payment method, for example, if you only want to take a look at credit card payments. You can then choose to export this, and it's a fantastic way for you to be able to provide information for your accountants. Next up, we can go ahead and take a look at pricing. Now, this is a very important step in creating your account, because as you might notice, if you create a class but you don't have a pricing option, your classes will not show up in your schedule. So please be mindful to have at least one ClassPass or membership. If you're wondering, the main difference between ClassPasses and memberships is that ClassPasses run with a crediting system, meaning that one class equals one credit. In the case of memberships, there are many different possibilities. So of course it can be unlimited, for example, 3-month Hatha Yoga, unlimited, or you can choose to have very unique options. For example, if you like, you can scroll down a little bit, and for the people with the Plus plan, you'll be able to have monthly recurring memberships here. Monthly recurring memberships allow you to have automatic direct debits every single month. I'm going to untick this here just to show you the additional options. For example, you can also choose to have, in the case of the 3-month Hatha, you would simply input 3 months here and then have your name, description and price. And you can choose to also have a limitation of how many classes the yogi can book within a specific period within this validity period. So that sounds a little bit complicated, but just to do simple, we can have, for example, 2 classes per week within a validity period of 3 months. We could also choose, for example, to have a validity period of 6 months and limit the yogis to 2 classes per month. So there's many different ways that you can play around with this, but simply put, whereas ClassPasses work with a crediting system, for example, for a 10 ClassPass, you'll have 10 credits. When it comes to memberships, you can also choose the frequency at which your yogis can book their classes if you would like to limit the number of classes available to them. Apart from this, it's very straightforward. So once again, just the name, description, price, and VAT, the validity period, and in case you choose to do pre-recorded videos, you would be able to tick this box here to give yogis access to your videos with this membership. You can either choose to give them access to all videos here or to specific playlists as previously mentioned, and in this case we could decide to do, for example, the Hatha Yoga playlist. In this case I'm going to give access to all videos. There's once again different options available to you within the settings, for example taking away the tick for Yogis can buy this membership online if it's not, for example, available within your studio anymore. Once we saw earlier, monthly recurring memberships are possible as well, and you can choose to remind yogis automatically 7 days before expiry. This is not mandatory, of course, but as we'll see, there are many different emails available to you to allow you to have fluid communication with your yogis, once again, without having to do a thing. You can also choose to be notified, and we'll see in your email section later on that within that section you can choose to be notified as well for different options for your yogis. If we go to our yogis section here, you'll have an overview of all of your yogis. Please kindly note that at the beginning of your process with Momoyoga, we're more than happy to help you import your yogis if, for example, you're coming from another platform and you have a file available. In this case, we kindly invite you to provide the first name, last name, and email address of your yogis, and our team will do the rest. It usually takes within 1 day, but please make sure to reach out to us and we will confirm directly via email. Here we can see that we already have 147 yogis, and we can see the active class passes and memberships for each one when relevant. For example, the 10 class pass for Ad. If we go ahead and click on Ad's profile, we'll then be able to find additional information for her. For example, we can see here active memberships and class passes, payment statuses, expiry, and the number of credits remaining. We'll also be able to see when relevant if they have any upcoming bookings below. You're always able to change the payment status of one of their orders by going directly on the order, as we saw from the orders tab here as well. So for example, the tryout class, I recall that I'd actually paid for this, so we can therefore go ahead and it was in cash, and I believe it was on the December 1st. I'm also going to choose to send a payment confirmation to Ad to make sure that she knows that she's correctly paid for this class and there's nothing to worry about. You'll find the invoice here once again if you would like to download it for yourself. Now returning to our pricing, to our yogis, my apologies. You'll be able to find all information also in an export if you like. So if you go ahead and export your yogis page, you'll find columns dedicated to obviously their information, first name, last name, and also their status. For example, if they have an active and ongoing class pass. If you go to your teachers section, this will be a fantastic way for you to see an overview of all of your teachers when relevant. And for the insights, you'll be able to find insights regarding your current performance. In this case, we've chosen a period of the last 7 days, so we can see how many yogis registered, how many memberships were sold, and how many class passes were sold as well. Below is also a great way for you to have an overview as to how your teachers are performing if you have multiple teachers, as you can see the number of participants here, per teacher, per date, and per class. I'm going to go ahead and click on the settings option here, as we want to take a look at the different settings available for our studio. If we take a look in the payment settings here, you'll be able to choose how you would like your yogis to be able to pay for their spots. So in this case, we've authorized online payments, which will be through Stripe. So please note that you can always see the different rates for yourself within the See Rates option here, meaning you'll be able to see how much Stripe will charge you per transaction. We also have different options available to you for online payments, for example, online payments with Stripe, which essentially allows you to have a more personalized dashboard, but please be mindful that this incurs additional fees per month with Momoyoga. You can find all relevant information in our help center. You also have the PayPal option, Pay Later, which means that yogis can essentially come and pay at the studio, and bank transfer, in which case you'll be kindly invited to input the account holder name and bank account number. Please be mindful that this information will be directly inserted into your automatically sent email confirmation, allowing your yogis to proceed with their bank transfer payment without you having to do a thing. If we go ahead and take a look at these emails, and we can take a look at these right afterwards, it's a great way for you to be able to see what's being sent out to your yogis. As you can see, you have the option here to toggle off and on whenever you like, and you can see all emails being sent out and the reason that they're sent out. For example, the waitlist email, class cancellation email, or as we saw earlier, product expiry reminder email sent 7 days before expiry. As previously mentioned, you can also see below the notifications for yourself, so you can choose if you would like to be notified every time a new yogi registers, a yogi books a class, or a yogi cancels a class. Depending on your subscription with Momoyoga, you'll also be able to edit the content of your emails by clicking on edit here and then inputting any relevant information. For example, here we want to tell them, don't forget to bring a towel. A towel, not a tokolo. There we are. Please be mindful not to remove any of the variables, as these will be replaced with the relevant information for that class and for that yogi. Returning now to our settings, we can go ahead and take a look at the schedule. So this is very unique to your studio, but most importantly, you'll be able to find your studio's registration link here. So this link will essentially allow yogis to register and sign up to your studio. You can share it wherever you like, for example, on your social media pages, at the entrance to your studio in the form of a QR code, whatever you like to allow yogis to easily sign up and book their first class with you in your schedule. You also have other information, for example, like you can show the location on your schedule, or for example, you want to show available spots to your yogis when they go ahead and book. This is all very unique to you, so I would definitely advise that you just take a look and scroll through nice and slowly and make sure to have ticked the relevant information for your studio. If we take a look at the waitlist option, this is very important for people who frequently have full classes. If you allow the waitlist, this essentially means that yogis will be able to be added to the waitlist if the class is full. If the class is no longer full because somebody cancelled their participation, the last person to have signed themselves up to the waitlist will be able to be directly and automatically transferred to the participants list. Don't worry, they'll also be informed via email that they've had a spot available for this class and that they're going to be able to attend. If we look at the cancellation window here, this is also a fantastic way for you to manage your classes. You can choose when you would like your booking window to open before the class and how many hours before the class you would like the booking window to close. In the case of the free cancellation window, this allows you to choose within how many hours before the class you would like yogis to still pay if they cancel their participation. In the case of 12 hours, for example, let's make it very simple. So if you have a class at 7 p.m. and the yogi cancels at 3 p.m., this is within the 12-hour window and they will therefore still pay for their class. If we go ahead and take a look at the MailChimp integration, this is unique to Plus Plan users. This is a fantastic way for you to send beautifully branded emails to your yogis and also have them automatically transferred from your mailing list, from Momoyoga, to your mailing list. This way you don't need to do a thing apart from create the email and go ahead and send it out. We then have an additional settings in this section, for example, relevant to how you would like your teacher view or studio view to appear. In the case of your teacher view or studio view, this is essentially a profile unique to you with your photo. It can be a profile photo, a cover photo, also the logo of your studio if you like, or for yourself as a teacher. And it's a fantastic way for you to showcase your talents and really stand out from the crowd. So I would definitely recommend taking a look at this and seeing how you would like to put yourself forward. Then you have the About page, for example, with text regarding your philosophy, your studio, and your teaching, and you can add a picture as well. Your contact page and studio details. You can also find all relevant information for your plan if you would like to upgrade, downgrade, or look at what's going on with your subscription with Momoyoga. We're now going to return to the homepage settings, as I think it would be wonderful to take a look at what it looks like as a yogi. So at all times you can click on View as Yogi to see how your schedule is doing and what it looks like. Here we can see that the darkened out versions is because the dates have been and gone. So don't worry, this is not how it normally looks. If we scroll down a little bit further, you'll be able to see the blue section are the upcoming classes, and you can see all of the beautiful photos of your teachers when you have multiple teachers, and you can even simulate what it would look like if you go ahead and book a spot. You can choose, for example, to agree with the liability waiver, and you can make sure that it's correctly input for the pricing option. For example, here, the 2 classes per week pricing option is not available for this specific class, and we therefore cannot book. So we would have to make sure to check the class and make sure that all of the settings are exactly as we would like it to be. That's all. You also have the app for your yogis, so make sure to note that they can download the app on iOS or Android, and they can directly book their classes from there and note how many credits they have left if they have purchased a class pass. Please note that you can always reach out to us at info@momoyoga.com. We would be more than happy and delighted to assist you. We're really so happy to have you on board and would like to wish you a very beautiful day. Thank you.